Let's get to the Star Mechanical guest line, Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more about them and everything that makes them one of Edmonton's top locally owned businesses by visiting them online at starmechanical.ca. We got a new teammate joining us at the Nation Network, Liam Marek, and he joins us from the car, rocking the Nation sweater. Very well done.
I got the hoodie. Thank you very much, Jay Doughton, for this one. Thanks for sending this one the other day. And gentlemen, how are you today? Yes, I'm on my way to Erie, Pennsylvania. My kids got a tournament, but pulled aside here in Niagara to make time for you guys. I don't think that I had anybody famous from my high school go on to any fame. There was the lead singer from Steppenwolf, and I think his name was Johnny K, and that might be about it. But when I went to University of Guelph, I lived next to, and she used to bring me beer and chicken wings on Monday nights at a place called Griff's. Cassie Campbell Pascal, then just Cassie Campbell, now Cassie Campbell Pascal, was my neighbor, and we went to school together. How about that?
That's good. I was going to say, if there's no one famous from your high school, that means you're the famous guy from your high school, Jeff.
Oh, aim higher, Humberside Collegiate. Aim higher, Humberside.
The announcement today was awesome. I loved the teaser videos leading up. So let me just lob this up to you. How excited are you to be back? And how excited are you? And maybe what about us here at TNN made this the right move for you?
First of all, I love the fact that this is like a full service 24/7 hockey group. You know, the one thing that I've been saying to people about the Nation Network is I love being able to now wake up every day and work with people that live this passion 24/7. I mean, you guys know me. Like, hockey's been my life, right? Ever since I was, 7 years old, and my parents, this is a true story. My parents used to drop me off at the Hockey Hall of Fame. I would have a notebook and a pen. Imagine doing this with your 7-year-old parent out there. They would drop me off at the Hockey Hall of Fame, and I would stay there all day. Like, they would go to the CNEs when the Hall of Fame was on the CNE grounds. And I would just go from one exhibit to another exhibit, and I'd just sit there and make notes. This is all pre-internet days, of course. And that was like the best thing in the world for me. I would write down all the information. I'd watch all the videos. I would make notes, and then I'd go home and study it. Like, that was it. So ever since then, up until now, and probably until I, make my way into a crematorium one day, it's just going to be 24/7 hockey. And now I get to work with a bunch of people that are of, I would imagine, if not the same, at least similar or like minds. People that grow up every day or wake up every day and live this passion that is this wonderful, goofy, stupid, lovable sport. How about that?
I love it.
Pretty good answer.
I
heard the Hockey Hall of Fame is haunted.
Well, okay, you know what? So that's a really interesting point that you raised, because allegedly back in the Hockey Hall, so the Hockey Hall of Fame used to be at the CNE. Now it's at Yonge and Front Street. It used to be a bank, and there was a woman who committed suicide in the bank. She worked at the bank. I believe she hung herself. She was having an affair with someone who worked at the bank, as the story goes, and the word is she still haunts the Hockey Hall of Fame. I'm going to have to ask someone there whether that's actually true or not, but that is the lore, and that is the story. So yes, that is the story about the Hockey Hall of Fame. It may be haunted.
Do your own research, Tyler.
Sorry, Tyler.
It's
I don't know if you thought the show was going to go that direction, but here we are.
No, I didn't. That's not even it was a great question, but that's not even the most Liam question we've gotten in the last week. Last week we had on a guy who made his MLB, or who pitched in the majors for the last couple months of the year. And Liam asked him if on the day of his debut, because he had just gotten called up the day before and had a late night travel, if he was too tired and maybe was hoping he wouldn't play, which is just
it's a long day, long night.
I could just use a nap. I'm interested in realizing my childhood dream, but I could just use a real nap right now. God bless you, Liam. I love you.
What's the sheet going to be about? That you're going to be doing a lot of stuff with us at DFO, but the sheet, that's a big part of it.
So the Sheet's the Daily Show. That's going to get underway early December. I think the 2nd is the target day that we're looking at there. So that's going to be a 1-hour daily show. Audio, video uploaded to podcast, like all the shows at Nation Network. There's a lot of writing I'm going to be doing for DFO. There's going to be a lot of junior hockey and prospects. There's going to be a lot of PWHL. I'm really looking forward to, and I don't think I can give out many details right now, but there's like a hockey history thing that I'm going to be doing in the not too distant future. So essentially, Tyler and Liam, like when I went in and first started talking with everybody at the Nation Network, one of the questions was, so what do you want to do? And I said, screw it, I'm going to shoot for the moon here. And I just sort of gave the laundry list. I want to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And you guys know what it's like in the industry. You're used to hearing no. You're used to hearing why you can't do something. And the one thing that's really attractive about TNN is it was more along the lines of, that's interesting. Let's see how we can make all of these things work. And that was, that's music to my ears. So it's going to be it's going to be a pretty full slate. It's going to be a pretty full menu for me. So it's going to be current hockey, hockey history, futures with prospects, the women's game as well, and whatever else we can come up with. But it's a pretty packed schedule for yours truly, and that's the way I like it anyhow.
Before we let you go, we want to get into a little bit of hockey talk.
Sure.
Prospects, the big news today, like the vote went down, right?
I believe the vote just happened. The NCAA is going to allow CHL players to play. I mean, this seemed inevitable the last couple of months.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
No surprise. I mean, listen, we've going back to when I used to do the 32 pod with Elliot, we would always talk about how this was inevitable for hockey. Football couldn't stop it. Basketball couldn't stop it. Once NIL became a thing at NCAA, it was pretty hard to maintain that, CHLers are somehow different and less professional, I suppose, than players in NCAA. This was coming along a long time ago. And now just sort of, part of the formalization process, now becomes the myriad of questions. Now becomes, I think, more players jumping from league to league to get themselves in better position for NCAA hockey and for their hockey futures. Like the main thing that we should all take away from this one, guys, is that, we've always had the discussion about, who's on top of the development pyramid. Is it the CHL? Is it NCAA? Make no mistake about it. Now NCAA wins that war. The NCAA is on top of the development pyramid, and I don't think that's a knock on anybody at the CHL. And what it's going to mean is you're going to get more elite level players that, if they have eyes to go to NCAA hockey, don't have to go to a tier 2 loop, don't have to go to the USHL to maintain their college eligibility. They can go and play junior hockey. Now, there's a lot that needs to be worked out. I don't think you can hold an NHL contract and still play NCAA hockey, but this was coming a mile away. Saban couldn't stop it, and he sort of threw his hands up in the air about all of it. And I kept saying to people, why do you think hockey would be any different? There were a lot of coaches, NCAA Division I hockey coaches, that didn't want this, and probably, last year would have voted against it. But this one's being driven by lawyers, and this one has been driven by lawyers from day one. NCAA is sick of losing lawsuits, to be blunt, and they're not even going to bother going that direction. And with the latest news, it seems as if the march of inevitability just continues, and now we're going to sort out what all of this ends up meaning.
Do you think the CHL or Hockey Canada could put a rule in place that would prevent CHL players going too early, like as an 18-year-old, like they have to play so many games? Or do you think this is just it?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know how they would be able to do that in the first place. Like it seems as if, like at the end of all of this, first of all, it's a really good question. Second of all, I think what you're going to see now, and this may have to be led by the National Hockey League. Like it sounds like this could be a Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley program. What you're going to see now more so than ever is the CHL working in concert with NCAA to make this all work. Like the adversarial relationship between these two hockey entities is now melting. And, by the time this comes to fruition next August, which is, I believe, the target date for all of this, there's going to be a much more a model where the two don't compete anymore and sort of work collectively to try to make this new system work for both the CHL and NCAA Division I hockey. Now, I know that there's going to be a lot of talk about, okay, what happens to like the Manitoba Junior League, the BCHL, USHL, all these types of things. I think you're going to see a lot of these leagues essentially become feeder leagues for D3 hockey. Let's not forget about them as well. But the CHL is going to start, as soon as next season, sending players into Division I hockey. It's a fascinating story. Like, it's one that I didn't know that I would see in my lifetime. I think we all thought that eventually it would get there, and then NIL happened, and that changed everything.
Yeah, I mean, the ripple effects are insane. Like, obviously, the work you do with the crew in the BCHL, for me at the U of A and the Golden Bears, so many levels are going to be disrupted.
Hey, how about this? You know what someone said to me the other day? What's stopping the G Bears from applying as a D1 school?
Well, that'd be interesting. Travel would be. I mean, the other part of this, which I do think is very interesting, that's not being spoke about a lot, is the NCAA now has a huge pool of players, especially in Western Canada. What's going to stop them now from moving Division I programs to Western USA?
I think you're going to see more Division I programs. I'm really with you on this one, Liam. I think that's a great point. I think you will see more Division I programs, and you're going to see a lot more talent spread out as well. Ultimately, I think this is good for capital H hockey. I know there's going to be some growing pains, and we always talk about getting caught in the gears of history, and that's going to happen. And that's because we're at this interesting inflection point where again, so much has to get sorted out, and there will be some career casualties, unfortunately, along the way. But I think the uptick of it is it's going to be better for capital H hockey, and you're going to see, I think, to your point, you will see more Division I schools for hockey on the horizon. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I know we're keeping you a little long, but I can't let you leave without quickly throwing an Oilers question your way.
Sure.
A good chunk of the fan base is freaking out. I keep saying a year ago,
don't.
But what's the urgency like inside the building with the Oilers and in that organization? Is there any?
They're not panicked. No, I can. They're not panicked whatsoever. A couple of things I think are still very much on the wish list. I think they still want more speed up front. I mean, we'll do like the grocery list, Tyler. They want more speed up front, and a top pairing, or probably a second pairing right shot defenseman is what they're looking at. And I always, whenever I bring up looking for a right shot defenseman or bring up a defenseman at any point, I mean, every team is looking for that, right? How many times have you I was joking with someone earlier today. It's when you're on deadline, oh, I got to write something by 4:00. I don't know. Talk about how many teams are looking for a defenseman and just make your laundry list, because every team is. But if you're looking at the Edmonton Oilers, a right shot, top 4 defenseman is very much on the wish list, as is speed up front. They did. I don't know if it was as much kicking tires as it was, had some internal conversations about Timothy Liljegren, who ended up going to the San Jose Sharks. I would imagine salary might have been an issue there if they would have looked to bring him in. But make no mistake about it, the antennas are up for the Edmonton Oilers, but as far as panic goes, within the organization, nobody's panicking right now. Although, watching Noah Hannafin fire muffins in the net last night didn't tickle anybody.
No. Appreciate your time today. We look forward to doing this more with you throughout the year, and you're going to be a great teammate. We're excited to work with you.
I can't wait. Thank you so much. Can't wait to join you guys again. Be well. Really, really thrilled to be here. Thanks so much, guys.
Enjoy the rest of your drive.
Yeah, thanks. Here we go. Erie or bust.
There you go. There goes Jeff Marek on the Star Mechanical Guest Line, our newest teammate here at the Nation Network. Another reason why you should subscribe to the Daily Faceoff YouTube. What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.